So here I have a 2015 Ford F-250 with the 6.7 turbo diesel. They say the check engine light came back on. We just did, I think a few weeks ago, we did an injector connector and a regen on it. It was at another shop and they couldn't figure it out, a local shop down the street. And they pulled the injector out and supposedly put some new O-rings on it, put it back in, and they broke the connector and they didn't replace it. But it wouldn't run a regen because the injector, the engine would start knocking because the injector pigtail was so loose. So once I put the pigtail on, replaced that, did a regen, everything was perfectly fine. But they say now we have a DPF code, and the only code we were able to find is a P2002 particulate filter below threshold or efficiency. So there's a couple TSBs for this. So I have the IDS hooked up. We're gonna check the IDS and see what it says. There's one for reprogramming the ECM, and then there's another one for replacing the entire DPF. So first I want to check the calibration level of the PCM to see if maybe we can just update it and get away with it, because I really don't want to have to sell them a DPF, but it is what it is. So let's go back and just check it, because they were probably trying to drive it around with that injector connector broken or something. The other shop was trying to mess with it and they didn't know what the hell they were doing. I mean, there's no reason to replace the O-rings on one of these injectors. It's a common rail. The injector's on the outside, and there's really no reason for that. This thing can't get the PCM ID with the truck running, so you have to shut it off. But we'll have to go check and see if it has the updated collar, because it's a 6.7. So there's one way to tell. So on these Fords from the 6.7s, there's two types of collars. And someone's already touched it, but it's not the permanent type. See this, that black thing I'm pointing at? That's a, I think that's a removable one. I'll have to look at the picture when it comes up for calibration, because it'll ask me if it has the updated style. This one's a black one that you spin and release. So I think it's never been updated. Let's go see what. So just wants to make sure. Okay, now we're going to go over here. We're going to go to module programming. Then we're going to go to module reprogramming. We're going to go to PCM. And the ignition switch is already on, so we'll let it do its thing. Yeah, see. The original connection has a removable lock ring that may be gray or black in color. Cruise visible lock, and that's what we have. We have the original style. So we'll go back. That's the new style with the heat shrink over it, but it doesn't have the teeth on it, just to make sure that somebody didn't cut it off. You can see it still has the tabs on it though, but it doesn't have the teeth, so we still have the original style. So we'll go ahead and note that in here, because it'll ask me. And the truck goes nuts and throws all kinds of lights on the dash, and it's completely normal. It's just checking the PCM. $79939, that's our VIN. And maybe if you have a Ford and you take it to a shop, you know, it's really helpful to have this IDS. This is what it looks like. You can use any type of laptop. I just use the Snap-on because it's more convenient. But it's this VCM2, and it's very helpful in these situations. Okay, so I'm back. The vehicle equipped with a permanent one with no visible locking tabs. No, the vehicle is not equipped with it, and we are not installing it. I really don't know what the difference is between the calibrations, but I'm not too sure why they do it. I think it's for tampering, so that later calibration is available. So we'll have to call them first and see if they want to get approval. You can see right here, sorry for the glare, later calibration is available. Do you want to reprogram the PCM with it? There's the current and there's the updated. It goes from CRB to CBB. So we'll have to go get approval first before we start on it. Let's go do that, and then we'll come back and probably So we got the approval to reprogram the PCM, so I'm going to do that now. So you got to make sure it's not running, obviously. So we have, go to module programming, module reprogramming, PCM, the ignition's on, and it's going to do its thing. It's going to ask us, I think, that same question again, if it has the, yeah, original CCV. About the glare. I'm just going to check the network for updates. Got to make sure the scanner doesn't go dead. This is a little low, but it should be fine. Okay, ignition off. Switch ignition on. Try and get a better view. Now it's racing the PCM. Okay, that's usually the one that takes the longest. Turn ignition off. Ignition's off. Might want me to start it, yeah. Starts right up. I don't think I've ever had one not start. Turn ignition off. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a glitch. Turn ignition on. Let's see what we're doing next. By the TCM. Okay. That was weird. Usually it does them all. We just need to go grab the TSB and make sure that I don't have to reset anything else. So here's the TSB that we did. It says built on or before 3/26/2015. This truck was built in the end of 2014, so this does apply to it. We had a 2002. This wants you to reprogram the PCM delays calibration. Make sure you connect to the internet so it's updated to the latest. So let's see. That's it. So we'll go drive it and see what happens. And we have no codes in the PCM, so we'll see. Let's go drive it and see what it does. But sometimes on those TSBs they want you to reset certain parameters, but in this one apparently there was nothing for us to reset, so we'll see how that goes. This might not be a good idea to get out of here, it's too packed. Go the back way. Go again. And they were advised there is another TSB that says to replace the DPF, but I don't feel comfortable doing that until the PCM was reprogrammed to the latest calibration. That's a lot of money to spend on a hope and a prayer versus just a calibration. And then if they does come back on and we end up having to do the DPF, then we can recheck it again, but I doubt if they do it within a timely manner, we're gonna have to replace have to update the PCM again. They usually don't update them all that often anyways. But seems to run fine. Got 123,000 miles. Which is pretty low for one of these trucks. Generally they're around a couple 100,000 miles. They're not bad trucks. Not my favorite ones, but they're not the worst ones. Want to ride bikes on a road that doesn't have a sidewalk or any type of bike lane. It's super dangerous. Okay, let me get back, let's make sure there's no codes in it. And go from there. But it usually takes a while for them to run through the test, so it might take a few hundred miles before it'll throw a code or run all the monitors and be good. We're back. Turns is annoying on this. Okay, now let's check it again. I'm gonna put my stand up. Let's recheck it for codes real quick and see what happens. Sometimes it's a little weird. We're done before we just go back in here. Usually, sometimes I like to shut them off, restart them just to be sure. PCM, retrieve. Should be good. Yep, no codes. Okay. So let's let them know and we'll see what happens.